Well, hello there. My name's Jeremy and welcome back once more to Freeform Disney. Here's hoping the day is treating you well and that you've been able to spend some time with family over the holidays, whether that be socially distanced or not. So, hoping good times for you, relatively. Anyway, today we are going to be talking about the new Pixar movie Soul. And I'm going to be doing it spoiler-free, so nothing more than you would expect to get out of, say, a movie trailer for Soul. But first, let me go ahead and thank my newest patron, Fred Richards. So thank you so much. One more, and I love all of my patrons so much. You mean a lot to me, so thank you so much for supporting the channel. Moving on to the movie. So Pixar's Soul, this is the whole, what is it that makes you, you? We're focused on the guy called Joe Gardner, who's a middle school band teacher. Now, apparently he's gonna have a chance at a really great life, but a small misstep takes him to the great before. And there he meets up with 22, which is a soul that hasn't actually gone and been human yet. And so there's this whole big interaction between them. I'm not going to tell you much more about that, but the point being is that interaction is huge, very important. And as we find out from the trailer and the description, this is the interaction of Joe telling 22 what's great about living and, well, what is the meaning of life, what is important, etc., etc. You get the idea, that kind of thing. Now, if you've seen some of the images in the video, intriguing looking right off the bat, right? Well, what do I think about this movie? Well, first off, some of you may remember my review of Onward earlier this year, and you may remember I enjoyed it, but among other things, I didn't think it was all that Pixar-y. Is Pixar-y a word? Well, it is now anyway. So yeah, it just felt more like a DreamWorks movie to me. It kind of like how Ray felt more like a Disney animation movie. But what about Pixar's Soul? Well, I'm super happy to say that yes, this one definitely felt like a Pixar movie to me. And here's an interesting thing. It feels like the most mature movie that Pixar has ever made. By a decent bit, actually. And just let me say, that is not a knock against the movie. It is anything but. Heck, I actually think it's a huge positive. And yes, I think the movie will still work for all ages, even though the main target audience seems to be much older than usual for Pixar. Why is it so mature? Well, hard to say a lot about that without spoilers, but I can say that I think in part, focusing the story around a middle-aged man as well as our other main character 22, helped the story be able to be crafted in a more mature way. So I think there's that off the bat. Now, part of what makes it more mature is that there are certain themes and questions that were explored, which might not have been in a different Pixar movie. And heck, more than that, it's the way our characters approach that, the bit of life experience that they clearly have. So it's the way those things are explored as well. Or heck, it's also how the movie is willing to take its time and do it right, which that often is a difference between the target audience that you've got for a movie. The younger it's targeted, the more you've got to shove in the comedy or make sure it's super fast paced because you're worried about losing the attention span. That's just the general, whether that's really correct or not is a completely different matter, but that is the general for how movies are made that way. Heck, we can talk about Frozen 2 and what we learned over in the documentary on that, and some of the things they did to go ahead and change Frozen 2 after different screenings, etc. Same kind of idea. But anyway, let me also say, don't take everything I just said the wrong way there about the whole taking this time and doing it right, because this movie's gonna go ahead and grip you, and it's not gonna let go until it is over. And hell, frankly, even then, you're gonna keep thinking about it for hours and days to come. Certainly I did. Now, there is some real talent in this movie, by the way. Heck, on the acting front, Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey did wonderful jobs as the two main characters, as did the rest of the cast. It was a well-cast movie with good direction from the director this time, which is Pixar veteran Pete Docter. Now, Pete Docter, when you talk about the people that are heavily involved in Pixar, heck, prior to this, he directed Monsters, Inc., he directed Up, he directed Inside Out, and heck, he's got a number of writing credits where he's helped in stories on a number of things, including even helping out in the first couple Toy Story movies. He's heavily versed in animation, so he knows that side of it too when it comes to directing. Heck, he was the third animator that ever even came into Pixar. So yeah, you've got an old bro right there who seems to excel at making some of Pixar's more human-focused movies. And with this movie down, I'm only too curious to see what he'll direct next. And while we're talking people for a quick second, Mike Jones and Kemp Powers did a great job writing this one, and Kemp Powers obviously was a huge force in this one too. He also co-directed. So yeah, looking forward to seeing more out of Kemp Powers, and also Mike Jones for that matter. Now, the animation. Can't not talk about the animation a little bit here. The animation is beautiful. What else would you expect from Pixar, right? But even so, this is like on a level that we haven't seen. The movement, the characters' faces, it's all so good. And heck, the lighting is impressive in this one. Just, wow. Pixar has come so far since Toy Story way back in 1995. Now, also, let me say, it wouldn't be Pixar without some quite unique animation, too. And we definitely get that. We've got the normal-ish human world. But we also have the world of souls. The great before and its denizens are depicted in all of Pixar's wondrous glory. And there's some really neat choices in there on how they do a little bit of it. I love it. Anyway, it feels unique, and it is colorful, and it is compelling. Oh, and the soundtrack for this movie, jumping off a little further, you just gotta say, wow, there's some great music in this movie. And hey, if you are a jazz fan, all the better. Heck, did you know that they actually released 2 different albums for the movie? I don't think they've actually done that before for any movie. But just because of all the music and their big focus on it, yeah, pretty neat, really. So hey, go check that out if you got the ability to, because that's a good listen. Or 2 good listens, actually. Okay, so well, what else can I say without getting into spoilers? How about, where does this one rank for me? Am I a big fan or just a moderate one for Soul? Well, fact of the matter is I am a huge fan. This movie really surprised me. I go into Pixar movies with an expectation of seeing an enjoyable movie. Pixar certainly aren't that as a general note. Well, unless it's a Cars sequel. Yeah, then, ugh. But anyway, aside from that, well, this one certainly more than delivered. Heck, now here's the real thing. In fact, more than just that, this actually may be my favorite movie that Pixar has ever made. Now, let me say the jury is still out on that, but only the Toy Story movies have a chance against it right now. And that, with all the amazing movies Pixar has made, is really saying something. Now, I'm really going to have to probably see this again, see some of the Toy Stories again to really try to narrow down which one I think is better. But, oh man, it is right up there. Those movies are in a class of their own as far as I'm concerned in Pixar, so... Which I guess, hey, spoilers for my rankings of Pixar movies, you get a little bit right there. But yeah, oh wow, I did not expect to be blown away the way I was by Soul. So just, yeah, if you've got a chance, definitely go see it if you have not yet. Now, let me also say, hey, if you want me to go into all the reasons for why I think Soul is that good, well, I'm gonna have to go make a spoiler-filled video about Soul. So definitely let me know if you want to hear my full thoughts on the movie. And hey, well, while we are at it, with that nice segue, well, what about you? What about your thoughts on the movie? Did you love Soul? And where does it rank among Pixar's movies for you? Let me know down below in the comments. And also, let me take a moment to thank all of my wonderful patrons. If you're interested in helping support the channel through Patreon, there's a link down below in the description. And for everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, it always helps out if you click that like button, if you go give it a share, and hey, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you back here tomorrow for another new episode of Freeform Disney. Have a magical day, and may the force be with you always.